George Washington, the first President of the United States and a founding father, is often associated with a myth about having wooden teeth. However, the reality of his dental history is far more fascinating and complex. Throughout his life, George Washington struggled with dental problems. His dental issues began in his youth and plagued him for decades. He experienced toothaches, tooth loss, and gum infections, which caused him considerable pain and discomfort. Contrary to the popular misconception that he had wooden teeth, George Washington's dentures were actually made from a combination of materials that were available at the time. These materials included human teeth. Some of Washington's dentures were crafted using teeth extracted from human donors. This was not an uncommon practice in the 18th century, as it provided a source of replacement teeth. Animal teeth. In addition to human teeth, Washington's dentures also incorporated teeth from various animals, including cows and horses. These animal teeth were filed down and adapted to fit the denture plates. Ivory. To create a more natural appearance and provide additional strength, ivory from the tusks of animals like elephants and walruses was used to construct the base and framework of the dentures. Despite the efforts to alleviate his dental issues, Washington's dental problems persisted throughout his life. His discomfort and difficulties with eating and speaking remained a constant concern. Maintaining dentures in the 18th century was a far cry from modern dental care. George Washington had to contend with the challenges of cleaning and adjusting his dentures, which could be both uncomfortable and time-consuming. The myth of Washington having wooden teeth likely originated from the fact that, over time, the ivory used in his dentures darkened and took on a brownish hue, resembling the appearance of wood. This misconception has endured for generations, contributing to the popular image of Washington with wooden teeth. In truth, George Washington's dental history reveals the challenges faced by individuals in the 18th century when it came to oral health and dental care. His experience serves as a reminder of the medical limitations of his time and offers a more accurate and intriguing glimpse into the materials used to address dental issues in the past. John Adams, the second President of the United States, and his wife, Abigail Adams, left behind a treasure trove of over 1,100 letters exchanged during their marriage. This extensive and insightful correspondence provides a unique window into the lives of one of America's most influential couples and offers valuable historical insights into the early years of the United States. John and Abigail Smith Adams married in 1764 and shared a deep and enduring love. Over the course of their marriage, which spanned more than 5 decades, they were often separated due to John's political career and diplomatic missions. Their letters served as a means of maintaining their connection and staying informed about each other's lives. The letters exchanged between John and Abigail Adams covered a wide range of topics, making them a rich source of historical information. John Adams was deeply involved in the American Revolution and the founding of the United States. His letters often discussed the political climate, events, and key figures of the time, providing valuable insights into the nation's early years. The couple also shared details about their family life, including the upbringing and education of their children, health concerns, and domestic affairs. Abigail's letters offer a glimpse into the challenges and joys of family life during this era. John and Abigail often shared their personal thoughts, fears, and aspirations in their letters. These reflections shed light on their individual and shared experiences as they navigated the turbulent times in which they lived. Despite the seriousness of the topics they discussed, the letters between John and Abigail were often filled with expressions of love and affection. Their emotional bond was evident in their words, providing a touching testament to their enduring relationship. The correspondence between John and Abigail Adams is not only a testament to their personal connection but also a valuable historical resource. Their letters offer historians and researchers a unique perspective on the American Revolution, the founding of the United States, and the challenges and triumphs of the era. In particular, Abigail Adams is celebrated for her intelligence, wit, and political acumen. Her letters to John, filled with astute observations and opinions, showcase her as a woman who was actively engaged in the political and intellectual debates of her time. The letters exchanged between John and Abigail Adams have been preserved and published, allowing future generations to appreciate the depth of their relationship and the historical insights they provide. Their correspondence remains a touching and invaluable contribution to the understanding of early American history and the personal lives of two extraordinary individuals who played a pivotal role in shaping the nation. Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, was not only a visionary statesman but also a dedicated food enthusiast and culinary pioneer. His eclectic tastes and curiosity about food and agriculture left a lasting mark on American cuisine. Thomas Jefferson's passion for food was evident throughout his life. He embraced a wide range of culinary influences, both domestic and international, and was known for his adventurous palate. Some of his notable culinary preferences and contributions include: one of the most famous aspects of Jefferson's culinary preferences is his fondness for macaroni and cheese. He encountered this Italian pasta dish during his time in France and became an early advocate for it in America. He even imported a pasta machine from Italy to make fresh macaroni, often combining it with a variety of cheeses and butter to create his own version of the dish. During his time as minister to France, Jefferson developed an appreciation for French cuisine and exotic vegetables, including tomatoes. Tomatoes were considered exotic and potentially poisonous by many Americans at the time. Jefferson is credited with introducing tomatoes to a wider audience in the United States and incorporating them into his culinary repertoire. Jefferson was also an avid wine connoisseur and attempted to cultivate European grape varieties in Virginia. He believed in the potential for quality American wines and made significant efforts to improve viticulture in the United States. Jefferson's interest in food extended beyond the table. He was an enthusiastic gardener and experimented with various crops and agricultural practices at his Monticello estate. He believed in the importance of sustainable agriculture and crop diversity. Thomas Jefferson's culinary explorations had a lasting impact on American cuisine. His promotion of dishes like macaroni and cheese and the acceptance of tomatoes helped shape the diverse and vibrant food culture of the United States. His commitment to agriculture and sustainable practices also contributed to the development of American farming. Jefferson's experiments and innovations at Monticello set an example for future generations of farmers and horticulturists. Today, Thomas Jefferson is celebrated not only for his pivotal role in American history but also for his adventurous and forward-thinking approach to food and agriculture. His legacy as a foodie and culinary pioneer continues to influence the way Americans think about and appreciate food. James Madison, the fourth President of the United States and often referred to as the Father of the Constitution, may have been diminutive in stature, but his impact on American history was nothing short of monumental. Standing at just 5 feet, 4 inches tall and weighing around 100 pounds, Madison was the shortest president in U.S. history. However, his intellectual prowess, leadership, and contributions to the founding of the nation make him a giant in American politics. James Madison was known for his modest and unassuming demeanor. His contemporaries often described him as a reserved and introverted individual. Despite his small physical stature, Madison possessed an extraordinary mind and a deep commitment to the principles of liberty and democracy. Madison's most enduring legacy is his pivotal role in the drafting of the United States Constitution. He is often referred to as the Father of the Constitution, due to his meticulous note-taking during the Constitutional Convention of 1787 and his influential contributions to the document's content. His ideas and insights helped shape the framework of American government and its system of checks and balances. Madison, along with Alexander Hamilton and John Jay, authored a series of essays known as the Federalist Papers. These essays were instrumental in advocating for the ratification of the Constitution and explained its principles to the American people. Madison's contributions to the Federalist Papers demonstrated his skill as a political thinker and communicator. As president, James Madison faced significant challenges, including the War of 1812, during his second term. His leadership during this conflict and his dedication to defending American sovereignty have been recognized as key aspects of his presidency. Despite his physical stature, James Madison's intellectual prowess and commitment to democratic principles have left an indelible mark on the United States. His legacy as a statesman, constitutional architect, and champion of individual rights continue to be celebrated in American political and legal circles. Today, visitors to Montpelier, James Madison's Virginia estate, can learn more about his life and contributions to American history. The estate showcases the home where Madison and his wife, Dolly, lived, as well as exhibits and educational programs that highlight his role in the founding of the nation. In sum, James Madison's small stature belied his profound impact on American history and government. He may have been the shortest president, but his contributions to the nation's founding and his dedication to democratic principles have earned him a lasting legacy as one of America's greatest statesmen. James Monroe, the fifth President of the United States, is best known for his eponymous Monroe Doctrine, a foreign policy initiative that shaped America's role in the Western Hemisphere. Ironically, while his doctrine left an indelible mark on U.S. history, Monroe died in relative obscurity and poverty. The Monroe Doctrine, introduced in 1823, was a pivotal moment in American foreign policy. It articulated two key principles. The doctrine warned European powers against further colonization or expansion in the Americas. It effectively declared that the Western Hemisphere was off-limits for European colonization. It also stated that the United States would not interfere in European affairs or existing European colonies. In return, the U.S. expected Europe to respect the sovereignty of independent nations in the Americas. The Monroe Doctrine asserted America's emergence as a significant global player, and aimed to protect the sovereignty and independence of newly formed Latin American nations. James Monroe's life and career had humble beginnings. He was born into a modest Virginia farming family in 1758. Despite his limited formal education, he demonstrated an aptitude for public service early on. Monroe served as an officer in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. His military service, including his heroics at the Battle of Trenton, earned him respect and recognition. Monroe's political career saw him serve in various roles, including as a U.S. Senator, Minister to France, and Secretary of State. He eventually became the fifth President of the United States in 1817, running as a Democratic Republican. Ironically, despite his service to the nation and his role in shaping its foreign policy, Monroe faced significant financial difficulties throughout his life. His expenses often exceeded his income, leading to debt and financial struggles. After leaving the presidency in 1825, James Monroe retired to his estate in Virginia, known as Highland. Unlike many other founding fathers who enjoyed prominence and prosperity in their later years, Monroe struggled financially. He sold his Highland estate to alleviate debt and lived a relatively quiet life. James Monroe passed away on July 4, 1831, the third U.S. president to die on Independence Day. His death occurred in relative obscurity and financial hardship, a stark contrast to his significant contributions to American history. While his financial troubles and relative obscurity in his later years contrast with the significance of the Monroe Doctrine, James Monroe's legacy as a founding father and a key figure in American history endures. His presidency was marked by an era of good feelings, and he played a crucial role in defining U.S. foreign policy principles that continue to influence American diplomacy in the Western Hemisphere to this day. John Quincy Adams, the sixth President of the United States, had an unusual and amusing quirk during his time in the White House, an alligator that lived in the presidential residence. This peculiar pet, which Adams kept in a bathtub in the East Room, served as a surprising and memorable conversation starter for his guests. John Quincy Adams acquired the alligator during his presidency, likely as a gift. At the time, exotic animals were sometimes presented to U.S. presidents as tokens of friendship or diplomacy. Adams decided to keep the alligator as a unique and unexpected addition to the White House menagerie. Rather than confining the alligator to a cage or enclosure, Adams allowed it to reside in a bathtub located in the East Room of the White House. The East Room, typically used for social gatherings and receptions, was an unusual choice for housing an alligator. John Quincy Adams delighted in using the alligator to surprise and amuse his guests. When visitors came to the White House, Adams would often lead them to the East Room, where the alligator resided in its watery habitat. The sight of an alligator in the presidential residence was undoubtedly unexpected and entertaining for his guests. While the presence of an alligator in the White House was largely a whimsical and eccentric choice, it also held a symbolic meaning. Adams, a staunch opponent of slavery, viewed the alligator as a metaphorical statement against the practice. He saw the alligator as a symbol of the injustices of slavery, comparing it to the enslaved individuals whose freedom he worked to defend. John Quincy Adams is remembered not only for his presidency but also for this curious and memorable aspect of his time in the White House. The story of the alligator in the East Room has become a quirky and beloved anecdote in American history, highlighting Adams' eccentricity and his willingness to use humor and symbolism to make a point. In addition to his alligator, Adams' presidency was marked by his dedication to public service, his commitment to diplomacy, and his tireless efforts to promote the interests of the United States on the world stage. While he may be known for his unusual pet, his legacy as a statesman and advocate for freedom endures in American history.